to Intuitive Talks, where we talk all things spiritual and learn how to use some of these tools in our everyday lives. I'm Elizabeth Maria, and guys, I am so happy to be here today. Hey guys, yay, I love it out there in the ethers. I am going to light some sage, just to clear the airwaves between you and me and we. Ah, as we spend this time together. Thank you, Great Spirit. Thank you, Great Spirit. Oh, thank you to all the energies. My gosh, guys, happy summer solstice to y'all out there. It's been a very illuminating time for me. Just talk about like fast track spiritual awakenings. My God, I've been hit left and right with all these energies out here, and I'm so thankful to be here today with you guys. Man, the energy just grounds me, just knowing that I'm not alone in this journey, that there are beautiful souls out there connecting with me in, really cool and just beautiful ways. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for, being a part of this soul tribe, of this so cool evolution of us rising in our oneness together. So, anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started. I love to start off with a ascended master reading. There, and one just came right out, so that's the one we're going to use. But before I look at it, I just wanted to say that one of the reasons that I like starting with an ascended master reading is to really, connect our energies to our ethereal tribe, right? Because we are not alone in this material experience, right? Oh, we all have guides and energies around us. And so collectively, we can tap into these energies, right, to help assist us on this journey and, to learn from some of the greats that came before. So let's see this is such a beautiful deck that I have from Doreen Virtue. I encourage you guys to check her out. She has a pretty interesting story. So, today our ascended master, and this is really, there's already so many cool. I'm like a total freak about numbers and numerology, guys. And this message is on page 72. And the number 72, the number 27 has been following me for, freaking years. Now, I am going to probably butcher this deity's name, but we're just going to see how it goes. So, guys, today for our Ascended Master reading, we have Ava Lokitsavera. Okay, maybe you can try to pronounce that 3 times fast. Ava Lokitsavera, and see the other person's point of view. So this is huge. And as we raise in consciousness, right, it stops being so much about the individual I am, and we begin to understand the collective I am. So this card, guys, is carrying the energy about strong emotions, about any situation that you may have any type of upset, or there's kind of misunderstood emotions around, okay? This card comes to you as a pathway to peace by asking you to consider other points of view. You don't have to necessarily agree with these other individuals. You're simply asked to understand their motivations and have compassion for their feelings. And guys, this is all about rising above, right? Getting that eagle eye view on all experiences in this material world. And I know for me that, sometimes it can be hard for me to look at the world from another person's perspective because, we're all coming from our own lived experiences, right? And so you're like, what the fuck, Batman? What are they doing? You know what I mean? And then you have to pull back and be like, oh, okay, so maybe I wouldn't do it, XYZ. But and even though I'm a beautiful little unique snowflake in this world, right? We have billions of unique snowflakes and billions of perspectives, guys, that are all worthy, even the ones that you don't like or don't feel should be a perspective, right? And so this is all about just having compassion for, other people that are on this journey. So this process can positively shift the energy of any power struggles that you may be feeling right now. Okay, this like shifting perspectives on a topic that has been giving you any type of constrictive energy. Because for me, anyways, constrictive energy is the energy of, I guess for lack of a better terms, the devil. That dark energy that clings, right? Whereas expansive energy, right, that is the energy of our collective consciousness, of, unconditional love, Christ consciousness, right? And so we want our physical bodies to be in a state of expansive energy, right? And so you can achieve this even when you're walking through difficult and sometimes triggering situations just by letting go, guys. Let go and let God, much like letting go of a rope during a tug of war. As you see the other person's point of view, you open the door for creative solutions to enter. And I am going to keep this open because this reading definitely has a lot to do with my spiritual discussion that I have planned today. So, some additional meanings before I move on. So, see yourself through the eyes of any person that you know or meet, right? And so try walking in someone else's shoes, basically, right? Let go of any type of defensiveness, any form of energy that comes up for you, right? In your relationships, you can begin to let go of that energy by considering the other person's perspective about the situation. Again, even if it doesn't coincide with what you feel. Okay? And forgive any kind of past hurts because I know again that for me, we can get triggered in situations that don't have anything honestly to do with the person that you're in relationship with. Because remember that we're all like these little ships and we're just like swimming down the river of life and we bump up against each other, and that's a relationship, right? And so we're in these relationships, and we honestly, it just feels better in the heart and the mind for you to begin, I mean, for me, to begin to just, release defensiveness. If you're triggered, know that that can be from your own shit and has nothing to do with the other individual, and look past the surface personality of people, okay? Because we all have a beautiful divine spark within us, all of us. And if people are coming up in your relationships that are triggering you or making you annoyed or feeling anxious, that constrictive energy, this is an opportunity for you guys to go within and ask yourself, what is this experience here to teach me? Okay, because that's another way that you can shift the perspective. So instead of, oh my God, this shit's happening to me, why is this person annoying me? Why has this experience entered your life, right? So what is it about you? Right? What is it about you that is getting triggered or feeling uncomfortable about this situation? And then you can begin to open up in ways that can feed your heart and soul and bring you to a harmonious resolution with all of your relationships. So, a little bit about this deity, and again, I'm gonna try with her name. um, Ava Lokitesvara. Ava Lokitesvara is an Eastern deity who watches over the world and hears all prayers. Oh, he's considered, well, there's all kinds of energies, right? Divine feminine, divine masculine. So he's considered to be the male energy. Oh, the male energy form of Kuan Yin, the goddess of compassion. Avalokitesvara has elected to postpone his own ascension into Buddhahood until all humanity is free. And so he is a Buddha Vista. This is beautiful. So until then, he's readily available. All you have to do is call into this energy of Avalokitesvara, and or the feminine energy, Kuan Yin, right? And they're available to anyone that calls upon for help with spiritual growth concerns. And so, guys, as we move forward in our lives today, I hope that you take a little time to look up this wonderful deity that has come into our energies to help guide us during this beautiful spiritual evolution. Thank you, Great Spirit. Thank you. Okay. Today I'm drinking, this is one of my favorite drinks. It's lemon juice, a little bit of cayenne, and a little bit of maple syrup. And it just brings my body so much happiness to drink it. So I'm gonna take a sip. Mm, mm, really good stuff. Okay. So I am now going to move into my intuitive talk for today. And guys, I am so excited about this process that I've started with these intuitive talks. And I love just the evolution of things. Hey guys. Hey, glad to see you on. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm just about to get started on my intuitive talk, and I've talked a lot about automatic writing, and one of my practices as a writer is to automatic write. And so I've started pretty much automatic writing the first drafts at least of these intuitive talks, and then I go back and add and stuff like that, and so they just come out the way that they do. And so we're just going to see what happens today, guys. We are talking about the new thought movement and Black leadership, and asking the question, who is Sarah Flowers, the elusive author of the Metaphysical, Thesaurus, and Dictionary? So to get into this topic, I wanted to go back and give y'all an introduction into how I came to New Thought ideology. And it really was a beautiful way because it came through a series of divinely timed situations and experiences. And it actually started with my grandmother and my grandfather. They were both Episcopalians, and my grandfather was an Episcopalian priest who baptized me as a baby. We had this incredible, powerful bond for a very short while. I called him Fran Daddy. He crossed over when I was 4, and honestly, I didn't spend a whole lot of time thinking about him until probably about 40 years later when my grandmother passed over and I was given my Fran Daddy's Bible. And so, as a side note, I was raised Unitarian, and the Bible had only been mentioned in my household as kind of a threat, as in, I'm sending you to Bible camp, summer Bible camp, if you don't straighten up. And there was also a time, guys, in my own personal spiritual development where I despised all parts of Christianity. I agreed that it was indeed the opium of the masses, nothing more than a violent propaganda tool, and I referred to followers as crispy Christians. Like, I'm not really sure why I decided that that was the way that I was gonna insult them, but, like, even when I sent my daughter to Catholic school, I still referred to Christians as those crispy Christians. I mean, it does have a bit of a good ring, but whatever. So anyways, I was given my grandfather's Bible, and I had a long history of looking at this book kind of as the enemy, but I was also in the middle of what I now refer to as the accelerated portion of my spiritual awakening. And guys, we're talking, I went from 0 to giants and fairies and interdimensionals. Oh my. And I was already familiar with the idea of Christ consciousness and Christ as an ascended master. And, the idea of Christ consciousness as unconditional love. Like, I can get around all of that, right? And so I believe that the expansive openness of the energies that I was experiencing during this time, it made it possible for my logical mind to open up past my preconceived notions and cultural conditioning long enough to begin reading and discovering the Bible. And guys, I was in my late 40s, and I probably didn't read it in a traditional way, though it became my traditional way of, interacting with what I now believe is a divinely inspired tool for spiritual awakening. So I began reading the Bible by setting my intention on a topic, and then opening the book and reading the first passage that my eyes fell on. So every time I did this, the passage, guys, I mean, it was exactly what I needed to read every time. And I began to feel the energy of God, Great Spirit, and my grandfather coming through as I read. This was probably one of the most profoundly important healing experiences in my spiritual development. I believe that my interaction with the Bible helped to heal my core father wound, because I learned during this time that even if my earthly father, and in my case, fathers, because I'm adopted, had done me wrong, that our Father has never, ever forsaken me. So, back to the Bible. I had no background in interpreting the passages that I was reading. So I started typing the passage, whatever passage I would open the book to, and then metaphysical meaning into Google. And this is how I found Unity Church. It is amazing, guys, that, there's a lot of crazy rabbit holes that you can go down in Google, but there's also some really cool spiritual positive rabbit holes. So I went down the metaphysical dictionary rabbit hole, and it led me on this journey of inner knowing and a connection to divine God, Great Spirit, like I've never experienced before. And guys, I've had some pretty wackadoodle supernatural experiences in my life, but it was just like God was right there with me. And it was the precise roadmap that I needed as I was walking through and eventually out of, my own metaphysical valley of the shadow of death. So during this period, I had already been reading and learning about Neville Goddard. He is a New Thought teacher from Barbados, and I had, been introduced to other teachers such as Dr. Catherine Ponder and Florence Scovel Shinn. And I am such an advocate for all of their beautiful perspectives. But for me, it wasn't until I began reading the Bible and using the metaphysical dictionary together that my long, outdated armor, the patterns that were forged by early childhood trauma and a myriad of other negative oriented experiences, it all began to shift and then fly off, guys, as my awareness expanded and life began showing me experiences that honestly I didn't even know were possible. It's just been such a beautiful unfolding. So fast forward, I moved to Buffalo and I decided to seek out my first Unity church. And when I walked in, Cat Stevens, the song that my parents were married to, was playing. And I knew in that moment, as I began crying, that I was home, that I had found a place where I could begin to develop my spirituality in new ways. And so, guys, I've been really enjoying the process of learning more about what Unity Church has to offer. And I recently volunteered for the Unity's Juneteenth table, and it's just a table that they had set up with different brochures and stuff on it. And this is where I was introduced to the booklet Gems of Wisdom about Black leaders in the New Thought movement. And I must say, guys, that when I'm being introduced to a new organization, and especially one that was created during our country's horrid history of segregation, that I have a hard time getting behind philosophies of organizations in general that were, developed during this time. But through reading more and more about the New Thought movement in conjunction with Unity, I have come to realize that Unity Church has fostered some pretty incredible Black leaders, including the elusive Sarah Flowers, who was the author of the Metaphysical Thesaurus and Dictionary published in 1946. And so this is where I believe, like the synchronicity, everything just came together, guys. So this dictionary that I've been using to look up Bible verses and via spiritual Google for like the last 4 or 5 years, I've been using to look up verses in my Daddy's Bible in a very probably non-crispy Christian way. This Bible, this metaphysical dictionary was written in 1946 by a Black woman who kind of looks like me and who embodied the true spirit of living in Christ consciousness nearly 100 years before. So this is usually when I say, you guys, I cannot make this shit up. Because I knew as soon as I saw her face, that God, Great Spirit, and my Daddy's Bible had led me through a series of just beautifully, divinely timed events straight to the mysterious Sarah Flowers. So, guys, before I talk a little bit about Sarah Flowers, I want to just talk a little bit about the New Thought movement. And y'all know I'm a researcher. And let me tell you, there's a lot of information out there about the New Thought movement. And I find a lot of my information from the magazine Medium. It's a wonderful platform. So this is from Medium. And so basically there's two main branches within the whole New Thought movement. So there's the religious science, science of mind and spirit, and then there's the Unity Church of Christ. And so Unity is a more Christian friendly religious science. That's just based on what I've been reading. And again, I'm new to the party when it comes to Unity Church, but I'm really enjoying my journey so far. Okay, and so the three main principles of New Thought. God is spirit. Okay, so it's not like a literal person. And this is a knowing that I kind of came to on my own. And the idea of father and mother for me, and this is also where I come into alignment with the ideas of unity, is that I look at father as our father in the sky and our mother the earth, right? And this is all about unconditional love, so very much in alignment. And two, inner divinity, that we all have the inner spark of God, Great Spirit, Christ consciousness in us. We are God incarnate in this physical form. And that was another knowing that I came to on my own. And then when reading about unity, it just aligned perfectly. And then three, and I believe that this is really one of the most important, well, all of them are, but the interconnectiveness of all things, that we are one. And this is also a knowing that I came to on my own at a very young age. I started writing poetry to the one when I was in my single digits. And so when I read about this, about Unity Church, I was like, oh my God, this is like what I've kind of been doing on my own already. So, and always wanting to find community, guys, because, I am a little unique snowflake like all of you guys, and I'm trying to find my tribe, man. And so, unity has really helped me do that. And so that's, and then the whole thing between New Thought versus New Age, they're very similar. New Thought is kind of more focused in on this metaphysical interpretation of the Bible, whereas New Age is a more loose term, right? That really embodies all aspects of, the spiritual movement, the spiritual journey. And because all paths lead to the one, right? And so if you're over in, China or Vietnam or Indonesia or in India, those paths are going to look different than someone that's living in freaking Minnesota, you know what I mean? But all paths still lead to the one. And so New Age, I think, is just a wider term, right? And so that's a little bit about um the New Thought movement overall. So let's get back into Sarah Flowers. So, guys, again, I just started learning about the Black leadership within the New Thought movement. And, there is a long history. It makes sense. A couple of other um, leaders that really came up over and over and over again as I was doing my research was one who is, oh yes, Johnny Coleman is one. Okay. And that is, and again, I mean, do your own research on this. But I do know that Johnny Coleman, I believe, is the Reverend who she eventually uh took an offshoot from Unity because of issues during segregation and founded her own Unity kind of inspired church. But anyways, back to Sarah Flowers. So this is what I found about Sarah Flowers. And guys, I'm a trained researcher. She is elusive. I would love if anyone knows any more information about Sarah Flowers, please, drop me a comment, send me an email. I know that after this, I definitely am getting her book. Her book is, her first book was called Common Sense. She graduated from the major course of the Institute of Religious Science in 1937. Her first book, Common Sense, was published in 1941. And it was a practical guide for applying spiritual principles in everyday circumstances. And so each lesson highlighted a spiritual principle, a metaphysical instruction, an affirmation, and a Bible scripture. Sarah Flowers also hosted a radio program. She was a popular lecturer during her time, and she published at least 5 additional books, including the Metaphysical Thesaurus and Dictionary. And so the information that I have from this booklet was actually written by Tracy Brown. And so she talks about how shocked and comforted she was when reading Atomic Metaphysics. And so this was another book that was published in 1947 because she's describing what we now call quantum physics. And we're talking in the 1940s, guys. And so she also explained the metaphysical proof, and this is before science explained it, that humanity is an expression of atomic power. And this way, Sarah Flowers built bridges among science, metaphysics, and the Bible. And so here is a quote by Sarah Flowers. In metaphysics, we must then recognize that there is a power that revolves in and around, out and beyond us at a rate equal to the atomic energy in our material beings, she wrote. This is no more a hidden subject. It is a clearly divulged in every man, woman, and child who is interested sufficiently in becoming informed. Let us elucidate this power, which is revolving in space as light. This light, as we understand it, is electronic. And because we possess it, we can use it for the benefit of all. And then her most famous quote, "We are made of light and power." Ah, thank you, Sarah Flowers, for your contributions. And guys, as I was preparing for this talk today, a lot of energies came in, and one of them about the history of unity, and knowing that a lot of organizations during segregation adhered to the status quo, including Unity organization, up to a point. I went back and read about the founders and the woman who, let me see if I can remember her name, the Fillmores. The man was actually born on a Native American reservation, and then the woman, Myrtle Fillmore, her father was actually an active abolitionist during the 19th century. And so, what does all of this mean? The fact that I can't find a lot of information about Sarah Flowers, who seemed very prolific during her time, right? That I, go back to read about the early years of this new beautiful organization that I, divinely have stumbled across. And, I'm reading about how they are now trying to right some of their wrongs and some of their admitted wrongs. And I think about, where we're at collectively as we are rising, right? That a lot of the energies that need to be healed are coming to the surface, right? Now, on the negative, man, this can look like a Lance Boyle. That shit is freaking spewing all kinds of funky funk out into the atmosphere, right? But from a positive perspective, and remember, our reading, our Ascended Master today is all about seeing the other person's point of view. So, from a positive perspective, all of this stuff is coming up to be healed. The energies of the past want us to move into this homostasis state of oneness and unity, right? And so I know that the energies of our foremothers and our forefathers, of the New Thought movements, right, also want this energy to be healed. And so perhaps, that is why I have stumbled upon Sarah Flowers and Unity's commitment to righting the wrongs of their collective history, because we are all collectively righting the wrongs, right? And we got a lot of funky shit to look at, man, and to deal with, and I don't think that, a better person than me, honestly, anyone that is right in the middle of this divide, I have a white mother and a black father. I'm right in the middle, right? And so it gives me a unique perspective to try to reconcile how a organization that is based on the oneness of all people still hold up the status quo during, a horrible horrible stain, I believe. I guess everything is needed, in the evolution of our collective consciousness. But my God, I am so thankful that this finite figure did not have to walk through segregation and just the horrible psychological damage that it did to both sides of that divide. And so, I'm going to end my intuitive talk today just saying that Sarah Flowers, thank you for leading me to you. Your voice and your contribution will not be forgotten. And I believe that I am here as a voice in the middle of this crazy divide, just to remind everyone we are one. Black, white, purple, all the in-betweens. We are one. And I am so thankful for the opportunity as we move forward and collectively evolve to be a part of the bringing together of things. So thank you guys. For those of y'all that are still listening. Okay. I'm gonna finish. Actually, there's no finishing. There's just, right, there's infinite things occurring. But for this live talk, as always, I'm going to finish with a angel message from our angels, guys. So just like we have ascended masters, our ancestors, the energy surrounding us. We also have our angel guides. And guys, I believe that everything in this world has an angel, including our rocks and streams and rivers and trees and little animals. Oh, the angels of squirrel energy. Guys, I just have to tell y'all real quick. I had the coolest conversation with a squirrel this morning. Like, I was sitting outside and I saw the squirrel and I was all like, oh, squeakity squeak squeak, you know? And the squirrel looked at me. He was all like, oh, and I was like, squeakity squeak. And he was like, squeakity squeak squeak. And then, guys, he got on his hind legs, looked straight at me, and did his little squeakity squeak squeak before he ran off and, crossed the street and climbed a tree. It was just such a beautiful interaction. And so I believe that, there is divinity and there are beautiful energies in all of our living creatures. And as just a crazy side note about squirrels, the squirrel was my first stuffed animal that I ever got when my mother adopted me. And guys, as we move into this angel message, I want to give a shout out to my mother right now. She's having some physical health issues and she's in the hospital right now. And so to all the energies and all my mother's angels and just guide us through this time wherever you guys are in this now moment. Know that you're exactly where you need to be. And Mama, I love you so much. And your angel energy is with you. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Okay, let's see what the angels have to say today. And so, guys, love, I'm just gonna end it there. Because today, guys, our angels want us to expect miracles. So, miracles, guys, occur naturally. They're always ready to unfold. And your angels are encouraging you to prepare yourself right now for the miracles to come in. A miracle, guys, doesn't have to be something extravagant, an extravagant change of experience or circumstance. It can be a subtle shift in your energy vibration. Talk about miracles. Just being open up to someone else's perspective is a miracle, right? It's the energy is unfolding and they can come and waves of love and light in your life. So if you need something positive right now to happen, guys, and we all need this positive energy coming in to help us, you and me, right? Then this card brings you a message that something exciting, healing, and miraculous is unfolding right now. What a beautiful message from our angels. I am just filled with so much joy for that. Okay, guys. So I just love it. I just love it. Okay. So now this is really the ending. Even though I'm like, there's no beginning, there's no ending, there's only right now. And so right now we are going to move into, oh, and I also wanted to say about the Sarah Flowers is that Sarah Flowers, she was such a prolific author and just developed so many practical guides for people that are on their own spiritual journey. And I just loved the synchronicity with that because I am also someone that is developing practical guides to help you guys and me on this spiritual journey. And so every intuitive talk, I end it with a yoga dance free flow. And so this is a program that I've been developing for several months now and is based on my years of dancing and also yoga training. And I have been developing these free flow poses for you guys to help, kind of shake up and out the energy from our chakra points so we can energetically flow in a more harmonious state. So for today, the pose that we're going to do is the volcano pose. And this is a dynamic pose that stimulates the solar plexus by elongating the core, encouraging deep breathing, and connecting you to the element of fire. And so the volcano pose is for solar plexus activation. And so this is the energy center that is located in the upper abdomen, and this governs personal power, self-esteem, confidence, and transformation. And so, guys, when this chakra is out of alignment, your physical symptoms could include indigestion, diabetes, and peptic ulcers. Yuck, you don't want that. Okay, so get in the free flow and clear that shit out, right? So there's several different flows within the sequence, but today we're just going to focus on the volcanic volcano pose. And I am going to get up and let me just turn off. We're going to turn the music down, and let me just get to our music. And today, guys, and I hope y'all can hear this when I play the music. I don't know. I'm not like a big tech freaking genius. But today we're going to listen to Spiritual Tony's Stay Solid while we're doing our volcano pose. Okay. And so let's get the shoes off. Hey, I'm so excited. Okay. So here is the volcano pose, okay? And from the side, you want your core tight, right? Not out, but tight like that, right? Then hands up. And so this is the pose that we're going to start in, and then we will get into our little dance flow. And so let's get into it. Thank you, Spiritual Tony. And guys, always a shout out to the artists that I use. You can check out Spiritual Tony on, I'm sure he's on all platforms, but I use YouTube music, conscious rap for most of it. So this is Spiritual Tony, and we're getting in to our, what is this? The solar plexus volcano. And I know that it's paper. Because I know that it's God's plan. They be calling me weird nowadays. Can't affect me to understand. Affecting to understand how I be feeling like a waterman. Yeah. And guys, I know if I can get into my freaking silliness like on live YouTube, then you can too. It's all about just moving the energy. Ah, there's the volcano. Sending so much love, guys. Mwah. See you soon. Bye.